You're listening to The Wedding Whisperer with Sarah Burton of Simply Love Studio in Lexington, Kentucky. So I'm here today with Veronica Sparrow with Veronica Sparrow Photography, and we have something super fun we're going to chat about today. Engagement sessions are something that I always encourage my couples to do, but we're actually going to put a fun twist on those, and we are going to talk about doing a destination engagement shoot. Veronica, I saw a week or so ago on your Instagram, you were posting some photos from New York City. I'm like, what is this? How did you make this happen? These photos are incredible. Talk to me about that.
We actually decided that we didn't want to just do destination weddings, but we wanted to create more experiences for our clients and kind of pitch the idea of destinations and locations that were not just local for their engagement session. So we had a couple for this season. Their wedding's going to be in June of this year. And we pitched the idea of going to New York for their engagement session. And they loved it, and they decided they would make a trip out of it.
So you just pitched the idea to them.
Just pitched the idea, and it worked out. So now from, just hearing reports back after the experience and after delivering the images to them, we're hearing feedback like, oh, we have friends that want to do this now. They've heard about not just, what the experience was like, but they now get to see it because they get the gallery, and they're getting, being told the experience and what the time was like.
We talk about like baby moons and different things for when you're having a baby, and you talk about the honeymoon for after the wedding. What can we dub this as? Your engagement moon? I mean, can we give it a name?
That's kind of what I started saying. It was the engagement moon because there's lots of moons, like you said, the honeymoon, the baby moon, all the different vacations you get to take. And it's essentially a way to celebrate a specific time in your life. And we have a term for this time, even for each other. It's no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, but you're not husband and wife, you're fiance. So I think that this time should be celebrated. There's so much stress in the planning and all the stuff in between the moment that a proposal takes place and the wedding day, that having an excuse to get away with your photographer is perfect. You get to relax, and it establishes trust and a bond, hopefully with a photographer that you're going to work with at your wedding. If you're traveling to a different destination and you don't want to pay the extra cost to bring the photographer you have at home or at a different destination, and it's more affordable to find someone to shoot your engagement in Italy when you're doing an engagement moon in Italy, finding a local photographer there, then paying for your photographer to go to Italy or go to Florida, something like that. I would still recommend taking the engagement moon and getting the photos. And I think your photographer would too, because we want you to have more experience in front of the camera. We want you to get comfortable with that. And a good photographer isn't going to be worried about the competition. We want you to feel the experience. We want you to bond with us. So it would be beneficial to book, with the same people and establish that. But again, there's no doubt you're going to have a great experience. You're going to build memories and you want to capture them. So if it's more affordable to do that way, and you're getting more comfortable with being photographed as a couple together, because that can be hard, then I'm all for it. So yeah, engagement moon, preferably bring your own photographer that you have for your wedding, but just get the trip and get the photos.
Do you think the 6 to 8 month mark out before the wedding is a good time frame to do that?
I think so. I think it also would depend on what you might be using the images for. So if you're going to use your images for save the dates and you want to save the dates out at a specific marker, then you might want to maybe start planning a little early. But we're seeing a trend where weddings and engagements are much shorter. So I think that's going to be customized to everyone. But about 6 to 8 months out is probably pretty good. I think maybe closer to 6, because you do want to take this vacation maybe in the middle of the heavy planning when you need that break too.
And just take a break. I know grooms do get tired of hearing about wedding planning occasionally, and just give it a couple days and enjoy yourselves together and not talk about the wedding, and just spend time with each other in maybe a new city or a city that you love together. And I do think it's awesome to bring your photographer along. We talked about in my podcast with Kevin and Anna how you spend so much time on the wedding day with your photographer. You want to make sure that you feel comfortable with them. And I think it's so important to spend time with them. And I'm sure that you all maybe go to dinner with them when you're in the city or do spend a little extra time with them.
Yeah. And that's up to our clients and our couples,
Absolutely.
of course. But this particular instance that we just did, of course, they wanted to meet with us. I always say Casey is the other part that makes it so likable. And of course, the grooms gravitate towards him. So there were a lot of times I had with our bride-to-be, and we're watching the guys kind of go off. So we get that chance to establish this. And this is something we can do in a coffee meeting initially, in a 30-minute hour meeting, getting to know someone. But to extend that into the engagement session a little bit more, where we don't just do it, in the coffee shop while we're shooting and we're done after 2 or 3 hours, but to spend an entire day to take someone to places I've been or I've researched about. I shoot in New York quite a bit the past year or so, and I knew exactly where I wanted to go, but there were a few locations I was like, I'm kind of taking a risk here because I've not been here or been here at this time or this place. But it was fun to explore in that way and show them. I think other photographers, the way that we're trained, even if you've not been to that destination and you're traveling with them kind of brand new to it, or maybe they're guiding you, I think that in itself is still a good experience, because a photographer's always going to scout and come at a location no matter how much they've seen it with new eyes. It's always going to be a little different with the lighting anyway, but you get to explore with your clients and create that connection. So being able to do that and then come back and go out to dinner and be in a place where it's an experience and it's a venture, it's not home. We were also able to recommend a hotel, and we're now partnering with some people with your studio and travel people to be able to connect our couples to give them that experience. Because I'm not a travel agent. I can just go, hey, I've stayed here, I recommend this place, but I can really help out our couples by extending that and saying, Sarah Burton knows all the people, so...
Yeah. And two, I know you went to New York for this last one. I think going south, somewhere Charleston, Savannah, somewhere in the winter would be just the perfect getaway, the perfect photos. This idea has so much potential, and I love the idea of it as a whole. And I just love getting the couple away and letting them spend time together. And those are the photos that they are going to hang on their wall forever.
Right. It is just as much a part of the storytelling. The trip tells so much about the couple as the aesthetic of the wedding does, because a couple that's going to go to New York City in January and have a winter engagement, I was so surprised that they could handle that cold weather the way that even I was freezing that day. And that's why I thought, maybe I should have pitched Florida instead of New York, and that still would have worked out. But it's very telling to this couple, and this wanting to go to the city meant something to them, bringing home souvenirs specific to their family, going places like that. And I think when you're choosing your destination, if you're deciding to go to California, maybe you're meeting somebody.
Perfect. Well, Veronica, I love this idea. I think it's awesome. I would absolutely encourage anyone to do this, and definitely reach out to Veronica if you want to do an engagement session in the Lexington area or anywhere in the United States or internationally. I know you've been to Italy and shot a lot in Italy lately.
We've done a few things, and we've been traveling lately a lot. So we would love to talk to you and get you a custom package ready.
Perfect. Thanks. You. For more information about Simply Love Studio or to schedule your wedding consultation, go to simplylovestudio.com.